Hello. I'm going to promote our police officer and Robert Stark from attendees to panelists.
Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes,
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Robert.
Hi, Lucia. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Good.
Good.
Thank you. Bye. You too. Good luck.
Hey, Kelly.
Hey, how are you, Lucia?
I'm good. You?
Good. We have someone attending tonight. There's an Angela La Sorsa. Angela, we're just waiting till 7 to start. We need a quorum of 4 people, 4 members of the commission before we can get started. I do not count as a member. I'm the trustee liaison, and our police officer in attendance tonight does not count as an attendee. He's an ex officio member. So.
Kelly, can you spell her name, please?
Yeah, Angela, Angela, La Sorsa, LA, capital S, ORSA.
O-R-S-A.
SA.
Okay, thank you.
Angela, did I get that right?
You did.
Okay, all right. We'll just hang out until
Okay.
we get some more people.
I'm sure the weather has a lot to do with it.
I hope not. I mean, I think it would if we were meeting in person, but
Yeah. Yeah.
what a storm though this afternoon.
Yes, it was bad.
Weather's crazy.
It really was. It really was.
Crazy weather.
Um,
We had a lightning strike and some thunder right outside my kitchen window, and I swear I felt it. Like I felt the vibrations.
yeah. I know. I know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Can you guys see me?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the computer.
Um, I don't know if we can usually see attendees or not.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
There isn't an option.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I wish people didn't have to see me. I'm envious of you. So let's see, we could wait. We're waiting for Sharon. Andres. I know David will not be here.
Karen.
Yes, and Karen. I haven't heard from any of them, so I don't know whether to expect them. I do expect them. I guess I do expect them. I haven't heard that they won't be here, but did everyone get my email about traffic calming?
What was the last traffic, what?
Traffic calming?
Calming?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
People just need to learn how to drive. They need to slow down. I mean, it's the bottom line.
I know.
We really do need to do something though about North Barry over there. When you pull out of that street to pull onto North, to make a left onto North Barry, it is so bad where all the cars park right to the edge. Every morning I'm like halfway in the street.
Well,
Is Dan coming?
Dan Sarnoff,
Yeah.
I don't know if Dan or
Oh.
Jerry is planning on coming tonight.
Okay. Might have to eliminate some of those spots over there.
Well, also there is, there are, I don't know what the rule is, how many feet you're supposed to be from an intersection, but that could just be an enforcement issue.
We have a lot of enforcement, but we need they need help,
Yeah.
they can't be everywhere.
No, they can't.
What about putting a mirror across the street to show the oncoming traffic?
Mirrors are, present other safety issues. They are frowned upon in the traffic world from what I remember hearing over the years.
So to answer that last question, it's generally 20 feet from a crosswalk.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, hey, Joe.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not
Thank
too bad. Sorry, I'm catching up on the agenda as I'm listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're waiting for our quorum. If we don't get a quorum, then I think we should hear from Angela, but then not continue. Oh, here's Andres. We need just, all right, that's 3 of the 4. How are you, Andres? Oh, hello.
Hello. Doing good. Just setting up my desk.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. How are you guys doing?
Okay. So we need either Sharon or Karen to show up to have a quorum because David will not be here tonight.
Does anybody have their phone numbers to call them?
I do not. It's only 3 minutes after, so.
Hi. Hello, how are you?
Karen, how are you?
Okay, a couple technical difficulties, but we're good.
No problem. So we have a quorum now. We need someone tonight to chair the meeting. Because David is not going to be here. Anyone?
Come on,
What is
Karen.
that? Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I said, come on, Karen, you can do it.
I would be happy to do it, but I, to be honest with you, I've never done that. So I don't know what the criteria is for that. So how good and useful would I be?
Well,
You're
it's
good.
just go down the agenda, read the items, take
Okay,
votes.
the problem is my computer is glitchy right now. I'm having issues with it. So I
Okay,
can't,
can someone
that's why it
else,
took me long to get on.
can someone else chair the meeting, please?
This is why I was late, which I never am.
That's all right. Can someone else
So
chair the meeting,
annoying.
please?
I hate this. I hate this computer. What? Someone must have got on here, screwed up all my information on the.
Can someone else chair the meeting, please?
Can't even find a spot to sit. All right.
Lucia?
Someone could pull up the
No,
information.
no,
That would be helpful.
Lucia takes the minute.
So
Come on,
Andre,
Robert, you can do it.
it's between you and me.
Come on, Robert, you can do it. You've been on boards before.
Okay. The meeting of the Traffic Commission for June 8th is open.
Thank you, Robert.
We have to vote on that to open the meeting? Is there a vote to open the meeting?
No. I think so.
Okay. So we have an agenda. We have 2 new business items and 11 old business items. Before we begin, is there anyone who wants to make a comment before we start going through the agenda?
Should I speak about what the issue is, or should
Yeah, Angela, are you here about an agenda item or something new?
I guess I emailed, I don't know what your agenda is, but I did email you guys about a week ago. And I'm just having issues with the signage that's in across the street from my property. That sign has been
Angela?
there about,
Can you quiet down the noise? I think your family is in the background.
yes, my grandchildren. I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, the signage has been there, for about 35 years, the no parking anytime. There's a sign in the front and there's a sign behind. So this way we can pull out of our driveway. And I think what's happening is a few years back, they put up signage that said, a 2-hour parking, but no parking anytime on top.
Angela,
Yes,
excuse me. Yeah, you identify this address where you're talking about?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Your address.
Oh, my address, 318 Ward Avenue.
Okay.
Yes, so And the problem is nobody's, well, sometimes a lot of people aren't respecting the signage of the no parking, and they park the big trucks there, and I'm constantly calling the police. And finally, I think even the cops are like, beside themselves here. And a few of them, had just made said to me that either you could put it a tow away, this way maybe that will make them realize when it says no parking, not to park. Because then, with my husband's car, it makes it very difficult to get out of the driveway. And the signage has been there, like I said, for over 35 years since I'm here in this village. And recently it's becoming an issue.
Can we ask the police officer to respond to that? If there's anything the police department can do?
Well, yes. Oh,
What is the location exactly?
yes, it's 318 Ward Avenue. And I'm sorry, guys, I call you all the time and you guys are there all the time. And, I know you have better things to do than come and,
So 318 Ward, you're going down the one way and it's close to where?
It's on the one way.
yes, it's on the one way,
Right, closer to the park or closer to the top?
closer to the top. And I think the problem really is the signage. I think it's confusing for some people. And so what I'm asking is maybe they can paint the sign that says no parking, because the no parking sign on the ground is all worn out. And I think that, not to cause the village to have to shell out money. I mean, if they can just hopefully put the no parking sign back from the worn off sign that was there previously on the ground. I mean, I don't know. A few officers told me to put it, see if I can get it a tow away zone. But, I want to try with the no parking. I mean, I have neighbors. I want to be friends with my neighbors, but sometimes it's a problem.
Hey, Angela, I'm just going to suggest for the Board of Traffic Commissioners, this item was not on our agenda tonight. I would just, I have a suggestion that the traffic commissioners take some time between now and our next meeting to drive by that location and take a look. And also if we could get, any police data on this, if the police department could let us know whether, this is an issue, this is a repeated problem for them. And it sounds like, if the problem stems from, worn off paint, that's a pretty easy
Yes.
fix for the village.
Yes,
this
it
might-
really is. It is
Yeah.
the one-off paint because there's no more, I mean, it's very light. If anybody drove by, you could barely see that it says, the no parking. And, I think also, I mean, we could try that first, but also I think the
Ooh,
signage,
Angela, you're breaking up.
I think the signage
Yeah.
is a problem.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a
Okay.
little bit. But that would be my suggestion for the Board of Traffic Commissioners.
I have a question. Should she fill out a report and send it into Elena?
I
We
don't
have a
I don't
paper
know that
trail
we
on it?
need to. Angela, if you give me your email address, I can send you what the Board of Traffic Commissioners uses as an incident report. I don't know if you've done that.
Yes, I have done that
Great. Then,
with pictures. I even sent pictures with that.
thank you so much. My guess is if you sent it in the last week, it just didn't make it onto our agenda because it had already been printed up.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right, good. Okay, good.
Okay,
Thank you, Lucia.
All right, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Okay, I found my agenda. Everything is safe and my computer is working. So I want everyone to now know I'm back in the loop.
Okay, good. Is
All
Sharon
right.
here, Kelly?
No, I don't see her. No,
Okay, all right. If you happen to see her, just let me know because so
I
can
will.
write-
Yep.
Thanks. Okay.
Going forward,
Thanks,
yes.
Robert.
Before we start with the new business on the agenda, has anyone read the minutes from the May meeting?
Oh,
Has
I think
every-
we do that at the end.
Okay. All right.
Robert, we do have someone else who has appeared as an attendee. Would you like me to see what they're here for?
Sure.
Okay, let me just make sure this person can talk. This is someone who is appearing as Tim Grant. Tim, you may talk.
Hi, everyone. I'm here for the North Berry and Brook Street intersection agenda item.
Were you here last month?
Yes, I
Yeah.
was.
Okay.
Andy, is that you? Is that your noise?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but
Let me see if I did the audio right.
whatever's in the background, that's all we hear. That's all I'm hearing is. Okay. What happened?
Tim, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Did you want to say something?
Oh, I didn't know if we were taking the agenda in order or taking.
Well,
this item first.
you're not on the agenda for new business. You're on the agenda for old business. Kelly, how should we handle this?
However you'd like. It might make sense since he's here to just hear
Sure.
from him now and then move on.
Okay, so before you begin, Tim, your location, North Barry Avenue and Brook Street intersection, there's a question about the need for a stop sign. That's number 7 on our old business. If there's something you'd like to add, please go ahead.
Nothing really further from what I mentioned last week, and I don't know if any members of the commission have had a chance to visit that intersection. But I just to reiterate what I said last month, I really think the stop sign is needed both for pedestrians and drivers. For drivers trying to make a left-hand or right-hand turn from Brook Street onto North Berry, it's a very difficult turn because the parked cars obscure the view and the cars travel very fastly on North Berry. So you have to inch out the nose of your car to an uncomfortable degree in order to see past the parked cars in order to try to make that left-hand or right-hand turn, which is very difficult. And you have to, as I said, nose out to an uncomfortable margin. I think a stop sign would help drivers in that respect. And from a pedestrian perspective, yes, I know there's a crosswalk and there's instructions to yield when pedestrians are in that crosswalk. And I also know it's even in a school zone, which is all wonderful. But in spite of all those things, the cars still go flying by that street at all hours of the day and night. And they really don't respect when someone is standing on the sidewalk trying to enter the crosswalk. And it takes me waving my arms at drivers before someone will finally stop and allow me to cross that intersection with my family. So
I have
really think-
visited it. I have gone over there and I have experienced the exact same thing. I did personally go over there, and it's very, very scary when you try to inch out because you're afraid you're going to get clipped. And that is a problem. And that's repeatedly has happened to me when I've been over there. And I went back there again last week to check it out. And it's exactly the way you've described it. So you are, not alone in that assessment.
I actually go that route every day, and I have the same problem. I was just talking to Kelly about it, and I was thinking maybe the cars, when you're making that left turn from Brook to North Barry, can't we eliminate 2 car lengths right there so that you could see a little better going out? I don't know if that's helped. But Tim, I have a question. Where are you suggesting that we put the stop sign?
I mean, I think it might be helpful to have it in both directions on North Berry.
You mean right where the crossing guard is, like right there?
Correct, where Brook
Okay.
Street meets North Berry. Yeah,
Right,
in the same way there are stop signs on Beach Avenue and Melbourne Avenue, kind of the
Right.
other equivalents in that neighborhood.
Right.
For some
right.
reason, there's not one on North Berry.
Yeah, because this morning I was pulling out and there was a huge truck on the left-hand side. He was parked almost up to the end of the parking over there. So I was counting the cars. I thought maybe if we eliminated 2 cars, from that area, maybe that would help,
That is a good idea. 'Cause you get
making a
little more
making a
distance.
left-hand turn. I mean, maybe we could try that first. I mean, just a suggestion.
So that truck is
I have
there.
I have that problem every morning.
That truck is there most days.
Yep,
And I go that way home every day from work, so I know what you're talking about.
yep.
If you
This
move
morning
that,
it was really bad.
yeah, if you move that truck back, I don't know what's gonna help, because I've been looking as I drive down, and it's obstructed all the way down when you try to look past those cars. So
Well,
any large truck at that
actually,
spot's gonna be tough.
right, I saw it, but I saw the truck and there was another car behind there. So I was trying to see if maybe if we started with eliminated those 2 spots, maybe that might help a little bit. I mean, maybe we could, Kelly, or can we try
Lucia?
that or we can't?
Lucia, are you talking about spots on Brook or spots on North Berry?
North Barry.
Are they within 20 feet of the intersection?
Oh, I don't know.
They might be.
Yeah, I mean, they might.
It's not so much the intersection, it's where the crosswalk is, it's 20 feet. So it may not be
Yeah.
20 feet from the crosswalk, but it's definitely 20 feet from the intersection.
Right. It could be that they shouldn't be there anyway.
Yeah, I see the signs. You know what? When I go by there tomorrow morning on my way, I'll pull over and take a picture or,
Okay.
see what the sign says.
I'd like to, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'd like to mention 2 items that were listed in our minutes for this address. One is that Chief DeRuza reported that there were no accidents or issues for the last 5 years. And the second item is Dan said he would follow up. He would contact Chief DeRuza. So do we want to wait to see whether the chief had any suggestions?
Yeah.
Or do we want our police officer attending to speak to Chief
So-
DeRuza?
Chief DeRuza said that she sees the data and there was a marked difference when the speed sign was there, where cars did slow down. There wasn't a prevalence of cars going very fast over the speed limit. The speed survey from the trailer showed that the 85th percentile was 28 miles an hour. The average speed was about 22 on that part of North Barry. But she said if the village would look into possibly a sign that has the flashing lights with the speed, that may help.
I think that's right, officer. I think that in a lot of areas where residents request the speed trailer, what we're finding over time is that the speed trailer data shows not much speeding.
So I can tell you the street
Until
that I
it's
live on,
gone.
I sat and ran radar for 45 minutes and I didn't get one car that was going fast enough to write a ticket because I look and watch cars drive by my house every day. So they look a lot faster than they actually are when you sit there with a device and can actually gauge it.
Yeah. I just think that a lot of neighborhoods would benefit from these signs that show the speed at all times with the flashing light. It's something that perhaps the traffic commission should may want to inquire into the cost of those and see whether they're practical and where they might be best used.
I would certainly encourage the commission to do something to encourage some sort of speed calming on that street, because it's a very long block and cars tend to accelerate and go very fast when they're going from Route 1 to Halsted. And there's a lot of children there, and there's a school and there's an ice cream shop and there's a lot of foot traffic, and it's a very narrow old street that cars, go flying by. And I would agree with the suggestion that when the speed monitoring device is there, people tend to drive slower, but
Exactly, yeah.
it's just not true day after day, night after night, based on my observations living on the street.
If you take a drive through Rye, I believe on the Post Road and on Midland, they have the signs that display the speed and it says slow down if you're going over a certain speed.
Right,
Those seem to be fairly effective in that area.
yes. Does anyone know off the cuff, like an approximate number of how, you know, a number in terms of how much this would cost the village?
I have no idea.
Like before we were told how much stop signs actually cost, which was staggering. We had no idea. Like that's a very, you know, is this something that's, you know, expensive?
Probably Dan would know.
Okay. So should we contact, you know, throw this to Dan, or is there somebody that I could call to inquire about that?
That's
email?
something that I can ask staff. What I think the traffic commission should do is talk about whether this is a spot that should have that and what other spots should have it, that kind of thing.
I agreed with him. I thought it absolutely would be a good idea. And I like the idea of the flashing what the speed, you know, is and what you're doing. I think that's helpful because sometimes people just don't pay attention, you know, and that extra 5 miles per hour could be the difference between being able to stop with enough time or not enough time.
It's like the officer said, though, if you have somebody sitting out there, they know that you're there, they're gonna slow down. The minute they leave or the trailer leaves or something, you know, it's just gonna continue. People just don't care.
Did we reject the idea of removing parking spaces from the corner?
No, I don't think the traffic commission, from what I'm hearing, you haven't voted on any recommendation yet.
Do we want to talk about that alternative?
And I would just offer, I would still think my suggestion of the stop signs is worth considering as well.
Well, we have to start somewhere, though. You know, maybe eliminating 1 or 2 spots. I mean, Kelly, who would actually know what the distance is from there by looking at it?
We could ask the police department. We could ask Dan Sarnoff. We could ask Public Works. Generally, though, what we need is the traffic commissioners to make a recommendation. And then what I'm going to do is bundle up all the recommendations, take them to the village manager, right?
I would first suggest looking into taking away 1 or 2 of the parking spots. I would start with that.
Okay, well, let's start somewhere. That's a good idea.
You know,
It's a beginning.
it's a beginning. You know, start there. You know, but it's to me, because I take that route every morning, it seems, you know, from Brook to North Barry, the hardest part is making a left-hand turn.
Yep.
Now,
it's tough.
making a right-hand turn, I mean, I you know, I don't do it as often, but I do see cars making it, and I don't think it's that bad. If it is bad, it's because the car is coming down North Barry. And you can't see with those, you know.
Just so you know, with the stop sign, if you put a stop sign, you're going to eliminate spots also because there is a minimum distance to park from a stop sign.
So that'll be even more spots, yeah. So that's why I would like to, you know, make a recommendation to see about removing 2 of the parking spots. Start off there.
I agree.
We have to vote,
Do
Howard?
that.
Do we?
Just be very particular in what you're voting on so that it's clear.
The 2 spots, if
what's-
we could find out if that's
side of-
available to remove those.
But the question is on what side of the street and on what side of the intersection?
Would be North Barry going towards the school on the right-hand side. Right at the corner of Brook.
It'd be the spots right north of Brook Avenue on North Barry.
I have a question for Tim. Tim, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
What do you think the residents in that location, how would they feel about losing 2 parking spaces?
I don't know specifically about losing 2 parking spots, and to be honest, it would probably impact, you know, the home on that corner, I guess, if any, you know, family or friends or visitors typically park there. But I can tell you with confidence that those of us in the neighborhood recognize and have known for a long time that intersection is a problem and would appreciate something being done.
That,
Tim,
That's
do you
also
want
an
to,
area
could
with
you
both
ask your,
sides.
I'm sorry, Tim, could you speak to your neighbors and find out, get a consensus of whether there's general approval for doing that, for removing spaces before we go forward?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to all the neighbors that I can. I don't think I'll be able to survey everyone, but
Well, you don't have to go the whole street, but certainly, the houses near the corner.
Yeah.
And maybe houses on Brook as well.
Yeah, but Robert, keep in mind, if you're going to do that and Tim wants, 2 stop signs going each way on North Barry, you're gonna eliminate spots there, just like the officer said.
Well, I thought we were considering alternate solutions, maybe.
Right, but the officer was just ready to tell us about the,
Okay.
spots. If we were to go with putting stop signs.
All right, so what do we want to do at this point? Do we want to vote on whether we have a majority who are in favor of removing parking spaces? Do we want to vote on stop signs? What does the board want to do?
I suggest that we look into seeing if we can eliminate 1 or 2 parking spots on North Barry.
And what's the next step to achieving that? Who do we ask to do that?
Kelly?
Yeah, you
That's
would,
where Kelly.
you would vote on it. You would
have to
vote on it.
Yeah.
And then the resolution would pass. If it passes, then it goes to the Board of Trustees as a recommendation from the Board of Traffic Commissioners that these spaces be removed.
All right, so do we want to vote tonight and on the condition that the nearby neighbors don't have any objection to removing parking spaces, then we'll go forward? That sounds like a rational way to proceed. Otherwise, we need to wait until we hear from the residents.
Let's do that.
Vote tonight? On the
Yeah, I'd say
condition-
yes.
Okay, so
Vote
we're
yes.
going to vote. Andrea, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I vote yes on removing a
Well,
spot or
we
two.
haven't started the vote yet. So do we need, Kelly, do we need to make a motion?
Yeah, you need a motion, a second, and a vote.
Does anybody want to make a motion and a second for what we're going to vote on?
I motion to remove the 2 parking area spots.
I'll
On
second.
North Barry. the corner
Yes,
of
North Barry and North Brook Street intersection.
And the motion needs to say that they are on the right-hand side of the street as you approach the school before Brook Street on North Barry, so that it's very specific what 2 parking places you're talking about.
And may I just,
Just what Kelly said.
I thought from my perspective, if you're on Brook Street and trying to make that difficult left-hand turn onto North Barry, you would actually want to remove the 2 spots to the left of Brook Street towards Halsted, because
Correct.
those are the
Yes,
2 spots.
we're talking about the same spots.
Okay,
Yes.
just confirming, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one
Do a
where
screen share if
that,
it helps.
where that corner house is.
Right, okay, you said driving towards the school. Okay, yes, I follow, I'm
Well,
in-
that's driving towards the school if you're coming from Halsted Avenue going down.
Correct, okay, all right, I think we're talking about the same thing, just wanted to,
All right, to clarify, we're talking about eliminating 2 spaces on the left side of the street and removing no spaces on the right side of the street? Is that what we said?
It would be really good if we had a map or
Yeah,
someone
I
knew
can-
whether we were talking north, south, east, or west side of the street, because the right side of the street is one thing when you're going one direction, and it's the opposite
I
thing.
believe it was North Brook North.
So if you're driving down,
I have this here.
if you're driving down from Halsted Avenue,
But right there,
you're going south. Brook Street would go east to west. Barry goes north and south. So if you're coming up Brook Street, you're going east. if you're coming down Barry, you're going south.
It looks like there's a pump, fire pump on the right side of the street.
That's, yeah, but that's
That's
down.
the opposite place
right-
where,
It's right here. It's to your right, where that yellow sign is, right there.
That's correct. Where the
Yeah.
gray car is parked. Yeah.
Yes, where that silver car is, right there.
So 2 parking spaces north of Brook Street.
yes.
Yes. So if you're coming out of Brook Street right there and you're making a left where that GMC truck is,
You're going east to south.
yes. Right where that silver truck is,
Okay, I think it's clear what we're doing.
eliminate, okay, you got it?
Yeah, I think,
I
yeah,
think it's clear.
Yeah.
You got it, Kelly?
I heard Andre second, so now you just need a vote.
Okay.
Do we vote by raising our hands? Is that the easiest way to do it?
No,
Yep.
just say, I'm good.
Who's in favor, say aye.
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 Who's opposed, say no. It passes unanimously.
Okay, good.
And Tim, we would still like you to come back next month and let us know what the residents feel about removing the blazes.
So we're not sending this resolution to the Board of Trustees now, correct? Because it's a conditional resolution and you may take it all back if the residents say no, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for considering this issue. And I mean, certainly if any of you know anyone in that neighborhood or want to survey anyone, the more feedback, the better. And I'll certainly do my part as well.
Thanks for showing up, Tim. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Going forward, first item on new business is Mount Pleasant Avenue. Did everyone read the letter from Mr. Gerace
Yes.
about the problem with that location? Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
Is everyone familiar with the,
Yes.
has everyone been to the location and understand what the problem is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a comment because I was there. It seemed to me that he wants a stop sign instead of a yield sign. I don't think that's going to accomplish much because once you have a stop sign, it doesn't prevent somebody from just darting out before they have a safe passage down Palmer. So I don't see that a stop sign is going to do any more than a yield sign. That's my opinion. And further, people going down Palmer, I see that there's an opportunity for cars come, and I'm always looking for it. And I slow down and I move over to the left in case somebody is trying to push their way in. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to have a stop sign there. I don't know
Nope.
that it would make a huge difference for the
Me
very
either.
reasons you said.
Again, the Mamaroneck is going to be filled with stop signs, so
You can't always put a stop sign in. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
you can't, yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it's just, safety. People have to watch, how they drive and, that's my opinion.
So what do we do? Do we vote on this? Do we vote?
No, I don't think you need to vote on it. I think it's just a consensus decision that, this isn't an area that needs another stop sign. And it would be
Andre,
great.
I didn't hear from you. Do you have a comment about this?
I haven't chance to go down that area.
Okay, I just wanted to suggest that someone should follow up with him and just let him know what the traffic commission discussed and the consensus view on what.
I'll be happy to reach out to him.
That'd be great. Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
Okay, next is Rushmore Avenue, stop sign. Isn't this the same street and issue we've talked about a couple of times before?
Yeah.
I'm still not clear on exactly, because there is a stop sign on Rushmore before you turn into Orienta. There is a stop sign there. And the letter that accompanied this was confusing to me because it talked about making a left turn, and I didn't quite follow it. But there
Robert,
is-
what he's asking is if you drive down Hoyt, there's a sign that says that the left turn traffic doesn't stop, or I'm sorry, the traffic coming from the right doesn't stop. He just wants a sign put on the two stop signs to notify them that the traffic coming the other way does not stop.
What kind of sign would that be, Joe?
If you drive down Hoyt, there's a little sign underneath the stop sign. It's maybe 4 or 5 inches long and it just says oncoming traffic doesn't stop.
Oh,
Right. And so that would be on the stop sign at Rushmore and Orienta.
On both of the stop signs because only one way doesn't stop.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So it's also the stop sign, on Orienta headed
How it headed out of Orienta.
out of Orienta, whatever that is, it's east or west. Headed
That
north.
would
Headed
be
north.
North.
Yeah. You know what? I have a little bit of history on this, and my very first traffic commission meeting, like years and years and years ago, we voted on this, and we voted exactly this to put it on, and it passed, and it got lost, and I asked for and it was just at a time when everything the traffic commission did went into a black hole. So this has been recommended before. You can vote whether you want to resurrect it and ask that it actually get done this time.
I make a motion let's vote to get what Kelly just said done.
Let's get the little sign under the big sign.
Exactly.
Why not? It's
Yeah.
it's information. They can read it plainly, and information is power. It's simply words, and they can read. This will be helpful.
Hopefully this will end Orienta's problem. Traffic problem.
It helps one of them.
I have a question.
Well, it does.
I have a question. If the problem, if the issue of oncoming traffic is significant, putting a small sign, I don't know whether that's the best solution.
What do you want, a big sign?
That Hoyt.
Well,
I-
at least
I
it's
don't
letting
know.
them know that the other side
Yeah,
isn't going to be stopping. At least you're being
Yeah.
told.
It made a
It's
difference
not
on
an
Fennimore
assumption
when you're
made.
coming from Hoyt.
What do you mean Hoyt?
Hoyt Avenue is the street where where
No.
Marvell is or where
No,
halftime is.
no,
That's where the original sign is that I'm talking about.
hold on. We're talking about
Robert.
Rush.
No, he's telling you that there's another example of this situation in the village that
Oh.
has this sign that says oncoming traffic does not stop.
Okay.
That's all he's saying.
thank you, Kelly.
Yep.
Are we going to vote on that? On the small sign?
I will. I'll make the motion to put a small sign.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have to be more precise about what our motion is for. Kelly, you want to help us with that?
Yeah, I believe Lucia is bringing a motion that small signs that say oncoming traffic does not stop be added to the 2 stop signs at the intersection of Orienta and Rushmore.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Nobody else here, Robert.
Okay, the motion passed.
Passed, okay. So Kelly, will you, bring it up to the Board of Trustees?
Yeah, this one might be a tiny, simple measure that can just go to Jerry and Dan. I'll ask whether they need board approval for that, and if they don't, they can just do it.
Perfect. So does somebody have to email the resident? Or no, we don't have to, right? She'll just see.
I think it would be helpful if someone would email the resident just as a courtesy.
Go ahead, Robert.
What?
You can.
I'm chairing the meeting.
What?
I said, I'm chairing the meeting.
That's okay.
I'll be happy to email them along with the other resident that they're.
Thank you,
that
Ken.
They will attend. So should I be saying it's going to happen? How, or it's going to be, how should I word this?
Yeah,
I
that's,
think that the
why-
board unanimously voted to get this done
Unanimous-
that's why I'm not doing it.
Unanimously to get this done.
and that it will be taken to the village manager for action.
Get this done. And will be taken to Jerry, whatever, village manager, to get it accomplished. Okay,
Thank you,
I
Kelly.
just want to make sure,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know what I'm doing with some of this verbiage. Okay,
Yeah, me
Got
too. That's where Shannon came in very, very handy for that stuff.
yeah, it's okay.
She did. Okay.
We're working-
Kelly, do we go over the old business items?
if
and
you'd
the
like.
follow-up? What's
if
the
you'd like.
next step? I don't recall what we've done in the past as far as old business. Do we?
Well, can I
do
just
something?
add, actually, we haven't done anything on this. So nothing, right, Kelly, because we're still waiting for, I mean, we could go down the,
Yeah, we could go down the list. I can,
Yeah.
I think, you all saw the email I sent on the Walter's Hot Dogs crosswalk,
right.
right? So, a follow-up email was sent on that to our county representatives to work on that county road. Southbury and Guion, if we want to, arrange a mini walking assessment, unfortunately, we don't have Shannon here with all her paperwork and her expertise to lead these. I think you can just go down and discuss whether you want to leave these on the agenda as old business and we'd be taking care of North Berry and Brook.
Orienta.
We requested crash data. I believe that the crash data did come in, that there had not been crashes there. There had been no activity there. I think this was at Bleecker. They wanted an additional stop sign at Orienta and Bleecker, if memory serves, but I'm not, I'm not one of you guys. Your memory is probably better than mine. I was just sending that. I'm putting up that little email for Jerry and Dan now.
Well, see, the one for Orienta, the four-way stop sign, according to the minutes, Dan requested data from the chief. Dan will forward to the traffic commission when he receives it. So,
And I think we did receive it. It may not have been forwarded, but I swear I've seen it, that there was nothing there.
so we'll wait for Dan then hopefully next month? Ask
Sure.
him.
Sure.
Okay. All right. And then Rockland, I can take over the, so I'm just looking at my minutes from last month. The Rockland Avenue, Shannon is going to email Jerry and Dan to have DPW striping will be done in the spring.
Is the spring April and May?
Maybe next year. I don't know. Kelly, paint striping in front of 528 Rockland Avenue?
I can put that in my email to Jerry.
Yeah, because this is all, but I mean, I think we have all this on hold because of, the budget for the,
Yeah. It might
Oh.
be best, with all these recommendations that we wait until we have staff at a meeting.
Yeah, that's
For
what I
your
think.
information, the traffic commission did not meet for many months because of COVID. And we typically have staff who can run the Zoom meeting and do these things, but in order for the commission to meet, I volunteered to run the Zoom meeting. So I am, this is the way things usually work. And we really haven't met for several months. So we're slowly getting back on board.
Yeah, so we might as well wait, yeah.
Don't yet have staff at meeting. I did want to just say though, I want to thank our ex officio members from the police department and the fire department for coming tonight. You know, these meetings are always better with you guys here. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
we get a lot of information that we wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to have at our
Appreciate it.
fingertips.
Right. And the same thing with Stanley Avenue, the handicap parking spot. They were supposed to get back to us, the resident, and they never did.
Oh, that's right. The resident didn't get back to us because they don't have a handicap. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you suggest we do with this one? Take it off?
I would suggest we take it off because there's been no follow-up.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it off of the next month. All right, and then the Amerenik Avenue Shopping Center for the intersection Brixmore, where the North Shore Farms is. That's when the county is supposed to repave. So Dan was gonna look into that for us. So we'll just wait for him for next month.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm sorry, the paint striping on Rockland, was that Matt Sullivan's house?
Yes.
No, paint striping was done. So take that off.
Oh, that was done?
Yeah.
Oh, good, great. Okay, good. We got two off. Okay. And then Walter's Hot Dog is George.
Yeah.
And then the shopping center, Dan, we'll have to wait for him for next month. Something to do with the county. Once they pave the street, he's gonna see if he can get that left arrow to turn where the Avalon is.
Lucia, in
Yeah.
regard to those accidents that you had asked for from Chief DeRuza, she said that Taylor's Lane, Colonial Court, Barrymore Lane, and the intersection at North Barry and Brook were the ones that were requested. They were all negative for the last 5 years.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
we need to request then, I think this goes back several months that we had asked for Orienta and Bleecker. And my memory is that information came back that there had been nothing there. But I think this was several months ago.
Yeah. Okay, so Taylor, so now what happens with Taylor Lane and Colonial? So officer just said that the data was negative. So what happens
So
now?
we did get that data, and I had a question from, I want to pull up a question that David Salco had about the data. And I want to find his email and read it, if I could.
Robert, a lot of this was before your time.
Yes.
That's how I know, by looking at the notes, the minutes.
Well, Kelly is looking for that email.
I just found it.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, Robert. So David Salco writes the following. One, there is a sign effectiveness column. Does this mean that the vehicle speed was displayed to the vehicles? And two, if there were 8,500 vehicles in the 8 o'clock hour, is that for the entire term of the report? So if the term of the report was for 30 days and there were 8,500 vehicles, the average number of vehicles in that hour was 8,500 divided by 30 equals $283 vehicles per hour. And 283 divided by 60 equals 4.7 per minute. Is that correct? Those
that
are,
doesn't sound right. I parked there for several days between 8 and 9 o'clock. And I didn't count more than 40 or so at the most, 40 or 50 at the most on any given day during that period. 200 doesn't sound, that's not what I observed.
I guess this is a question for Joe. This was specifically about the speed trailer data from Taylor's Lane.
I have that in front of me now.
Yeah.
I got lost in the math question. Can you repeat?
Yeah, I did too. I just thought if I read it real quick, someone who knew better would be able to follow. Yeah, okay. So the first question is, there is a sign effectiveness column. Does this mean that the vehicle speed was displayed to the vehicles?
Yes, the speed
Okay.
is displayed to the vehicles when they drive by, what their speed is. If they're over a certain speed, it flashes red and blue lights until their speed reduces.
Great. The second question, and here's the math. If there were 8,500 vehicles in the 8 o'clock hour, is that for the entire term of the report? So
Yes.
if it was for 30 days, is that 8,500 vehicles in the 8 o'clock hour for 30 days?
Yes.
Okay. And how long was the period of the report?
Give me a second. It's in there somewhere. Total data, 22 days.
Great, thank you. That's a lot of cars. Does that seem, I mean, I guess you would be able to,
I mean, you got to figure delivery trucks coming in and out, cars coming in and out that live there,
true.
people that are just driving through that live on other streets that are cutting through. You got Rye Neck not too far from there, so cars may be cutting down from Rye Neck. It's feasible. I mean, that thing is holding data, so it's not fabricated information. If that's what it said, that's how many went down.
Okay, that answers David's questions.
Okay, so what do we do about this Taylor Lane?
So Taylor's Lane's another one. The speed showed that most of the cars are going under the speed limit. The
Right,
50
yeah.
percentile was 24. The speed limit is 25.
Right.
I'm sorry, the average speed is 23.
Can I say something?
And this was also changed because I did tell Chief DeRuza last time that it was facing the wrong way, so it was moved to reflect that for this period.
So the data was negative, correct? The crash data for Taylor and Colonial Court?
I believe so. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
that's what you said, right? Okay, I just
Taylor's Lane,
wanted
Colonial
to.
Court, Barrymore Lane, and intersection of Barry and Brook all night. Yes, you were correct.
Right, okay, thank you.
All right, I have a comment. As I said, I parked there on Colonial Lane, Colonial Court for several days during that period in the morning. And the device that measures your speed was further down Taylor Lane towards the closer to Boston Post Road. I felt that cars that were coming down, crossing Colonial Court, and there's Barrymore, there are two streets that cut into Taylor's Lane, that cars at that point where children are walking and turning were going much faster. I'm guessing that they slowed down when they got to the device. So I'm not sure how accurate that speed rate is in actually measuring the speed at points further up on Taylor Lane. That's my comment. So when parents are saying that the cars are speeding down, I think at a certain point at Taylor Lane, cars are going much faster than when they approach the speed
Well,
measure.
but that's with any speed trailer. You see
I
a speed trailer, of course, you're gonna slow down, right?
I understand, but the issue is those Barrymore, I think it's Barrymore and Colonial Court are the streets that I observed children walking down that street and going down Taylor Lane.
Right, but I think, I also think that the chief recommended that maybe, down the road to put a sidewalk along there. Am I right? She
Probably not.
recommended that's down the road. I mean, we have to figure out what we're gonna do now, right?
The road is also very windy.
I'm in
No,
a Zoom meeting
I
right now, so
I
pick
took
up
a
V
ride
and I'll
there.
bring her bed. I have to bring her bed to you.
Andy, we can hear you.
This may be an area that would be ripe for a walking safety assessment.
I did take a ride over there, and
Yeah.
it is a very narrow road. I mean, but I mean, what are the, what are the recommendations? I mean, if the data is showing negative crash data.
It's a narrow road and it's a blind road at certain portions of Taylor
Okay,
Lane.
so the question is, what can be done? I mean, that the chief, that, I think they did their job. They put the, you know.
It should be put on as part of a walking assessment. When might we do that?
We need someone who can lead a walking safety assessment, and right now we don't have that person.
Okay, so when would we maybe, would that happen down the road? Like something we'd have to come back to, circle back to this later?
I think as a long-term solution, yeah, I think this needs a little more, I think this needs professional attention. So it might be something that our traffic consultant can look at.
Okay,
If the Board of Traffic Commissioners feels that this is a dangerous area that needs, you know, expert attention, you know, that recommendation can be made.
okay. Understood.
All right, so I'll leave it on and just put walking assessment down the road, right?
Yeah, and I'll keep it in mind. You know, I think just as a heads up, the Board of Trustees is going to take up these walking safety assessments and their many recommendations over the past several years, couple years, at the next board meeting. I mean, I think there's a real movement to get some of these recommendations implemented and just make the capital expense priority to just get some of these things done. And I think one of the areas, you know, was Prospect and Fennimore. I mean, there are several areas that we know are dangerous that we just, it's time to just look at them and decide whether we're going to spend the money or not.
Exactly. Okay. So now I have, the next one I have is, okay, so what do you think we should do with this, Kelly? 531 Center, the resident emailed Sally regarding concerns with the sidewalk is cracked and broken and the tree in front of the house is leaning, you know. So now this is again when the village, everything was on hold.
You know, my guess is that this has gone to Dan Sarnoff and Jerry. You know, where there's a tree and a sidewalk buckling, that's stuff that gets their attention right away. It doesn't need to come here.
Okay, so take it off.
But this says stop sign, no parking. This doesn't say sidewalk. So what, can you
No,
just?
no, it's a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just don't remember this. I'm sorry.
Do you
Lucia.
have the agenda in front?
I do.
If you look at the minutes, last month's minutes, it's number 12.
You know, I don't have last month's minutes. I'm just looking
It's-
at the agenda.
Oh, okay, you only, okay, because she attached it to it. So. Okay, yeah, it's a stop sign and it's a broken sidewalk and a tree. So that Dan said he was gonna Dan will contact the traffic engineer and take a look at it in the area to see what could be done. But
You
then
know,
he
what,
approved-
let's leave it on the
it
agenda
on?
until,
Okay.
yeah, thanks.
We'll ask Dan next month. All right. And so Crown Court is the next one. We just find it on here. Okay, stop sign. Many residents are requesting a stop sign on Norwood intersection with Crown Court. David will email the Mr. Sorry, I don't know how to say his last name.
Skaradinsky.
Oh, he was supposed to come, yeah, he was supposed to come to tonight's meeting. He's not here, right, Kelly?
No, there's no one else here.
Okay, so then we will leave that on until, see if he shows up, right? Next month? What do you think?
I think
They
that's
have
always
to
helpful.
participate in this if there's something they're concerned with, so that we'll know if they're still concerned.
Right, right. Okay, so then the last one, number 11 is Fennimore Road and Plaza Avenue, no overnight parking. And we said we would table it. No overnight commercial parking. We agreed to table it.
Okay.
I suggest that we keep it tabled until Dan can give us some more information.
Yeah, I think they were gonna look into what, they weren't sure if we could do that on a commercial, commercial area. I think
Right.
that's what,
I think the question was that the industrial area of Mamaroneck? Because the industrial
Yes.
area, you can't put the no commercial vehicle. And I
Right.
think what the resolution was is that it is part of the industrial area on the map.
I think that's right, Joe. That's
Mhm.
ringing a bell now.
Right, but you can't put, no overnight, sign. No
Not the-
overnight.
Not in the industrial area, from what Dan was
Right.
saying.
Right, right?
Right.
Okay. So Kelly,
I would think you can take it off.
take it off, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Great, sounds good. Yay, we got 3 off.
Lucia?
Yeah.
And if we're removing 325 Stanley Avenue, the handicap spot, I would hope that we notify the family that wanted it so they don't believe that we're still pursuing this.
Well, the way we left it was they
know
were going
that
to come back to
if they
us.
want to, they have to follow up with us.
Yeah, that's Kelly's right.
That's how we left it with them.
Yep, and they haven't come back, so. All right, and then just the follow-ups is that's all old stuff. Kelly, right? We really can't do anything with this because of, we're waiting on answers,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's it on our part.
Is there anything else before we approve the minutes? Anyone have any comments or suggestions?
I have a quick question. Maybe you guys could obviously help me with this because you guys asked me to chair this and I was like, well, I don't know what to do. I've never done this because I've never learned the protocol and how to do, the motions. Is there somewhere listed the procedural for being a chair? So in case this happens, which I'm sure could happen again, then I
No,
could get familiarized with this because I don't really get it.
No.
Like I get it, but I've never done it. I don't want to do it incorrectly.
No, there aren't any written procedures that I know of. I
Oh.
think it's just, and we do not actually follow Robert's rules, so I can't refer you to that. In
Okay.
general, we need a quorum, we need to vote, you.
Right.
It's motion, second, vote, and that's it.
Okay, because I
Kelly?
thought there was probably a criteria I needed to, but since I didn't
No.
familiarize myself, I'm like, "No, I don't think I better do it." Okay,
Yeah. No
Kelly's
criteria,
our-
just a willing volunteer, that's all.
got it.
Kelly's our backup person. She'll guide us.
I will back you up as much as I can.
I just don't want to
Right.
make things go the wrong way if I didn't
No
know.
no worry, that won't happen.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks for answering that.
Uh-huh.
Lucia, do we have room for 2 questions from the fire department? They wanted me to bring back to the traffic commission.
No, of course we do.
Okay.
Of course we do.
Of course
Thank
we
you.
do.
Okay.
Welcome back, Andy.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had it backwards muted. I can't believe I was muted the entire conversation. It was good for you guys. Our first question to the fire department from the council is, has there been any progress? And I believe it was brought up pre-pandemic because Jerry was at our council meeting, that Westchester County will be repaving Mamaroneck Avenue from the railroad bridge all the way to Interstate 95. And they had brought up about putting a raised paved island in what I refer to as the zebra stripe area by Westchester Bakery and Fire Station 3, that the yellow 45-degree zebra stripe in the middle.
Yes.
Have we had any progress on that, or is that still pending because of the
That's
COVID?
still pending.
It is
That's-
still pending. What does
Yeah.
the fire department think of that idea? Do they like it or do they hate it?
They do not, they're not in favor of it because they see an issue with making a left turn with volunteer hose company number 3, their fire apparatus, because the vehicle will have to engage going up that small incline.
Yeah.
And that's a top heavy vehicle. Center of
Right.
gravity is very high. That's one of their concerns. The other concern comes up is that we have our annual parade each year and members from all departments around the metropolitan area are marching. That could be a trip or ankle twist hazard because we usually use the center of the road to make the cusp and the turn going toward Waverly Avenue as we proceed into the village with the marchers. I guess we'll just table that because like I said, you haven't heard back from the county.
No,
Yeah.
so I think what we were hoping to do is if this is something that makes sense to pursue, there was talk about trying to get some grant money for that. I mean, from a pedestrian safety perspective, it's a desirable thing because that's a really dangerous place for people to be
Yes.
running across the street. And so to have that safety island in the
Correct.
was going to be a good thing. But I think, you know, if
Mhm.
we're not even talk, but there's no commitment to do it. It's a question of, well, does it
Yeah.
make sense to do it when the county repaves and try to coordinate them and try to get some grant funding? And if the answer were yes, then we would have to talk to the traffic consultant about how to design it. And certainly, I think it makes sense, given what I'm hearing, to involve the fire department in those design discussions to see if there's a way to make it a safe area for pedestrians without screwing up the fire trucks.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Make it feasible for us to make the left back into the village to respond to fires.
Yeah.
Okay. The second item, I do not believe you ever got a letter on. I guarantee, I apologize, it got lost in the COVID. At the dead end of Leicester, off of Northrop, it's behind Mavis Tire. The back of the new building that we refer to as 811-817 Mamaroneck Avenue, which is Duck Donuts, Orange Fitness, that long commercial taxpayers building. They have parking at the dead end, and parking at the dead end would affect our fire apparatus from assessing or accessing the new building from the back there. We were wondering if we can apply with a letter to the Traffic Commission to take a look and see what their thoughts are on removing 2 or 3. I counted, because the village parking space the last time, and don't hold me up my finger to the fire on this. I believe it's defined as 18 feet long by 9 feet wide as a Village of Mamaroneck official parking space. I think we'd have to take 2 parking spaces on the right side of the street, and you're looking down a dead end and you're actually seeing North Shore Market over the bushes. And then the opposite side of the street is a municipal utility Con Ed substation, which that all in itself is a safety issue. And I spoke with Dan about that and Jerry, and they also agree that no parking there would be appropriate just because of what's there.
Right. I agree. I saw it.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
to get into detail. It's a public meeting. I'll talk to you face to face. What my real concern is above the word safety. But my thing is, it's a safety issue to have a car parked in front of that area. But the other thing is, I'll have the fire department CC you a proper letter and request for the July Traffic Commission. So this way we're going through the proper channels on that second issue.
That'd be great. Do you know about the incident report form that's on the website?
I think I froze again. Guys, I may have froze again. I think I
Oh.
lost the signal.
You did freeze. Your video froze, but we can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Well, if you're speaking, we can't hear you, Andy. Yeah, there's an incident report form on the Board of Traffic Commissioners page on the village website, and that is the official way to get things logged into our system. I'm glad you're already talking to Dan and Jerry about this, though. It sounds like
This way we have paper trail also.
an immediate safety concern for the
Right.
department, so.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna just put table on that.
And you know, in the meantime, if the traffic commissioners could just drive by that area so that everyone's ready to talk about it at the next meeting.
Yep.
Another quick question. I just realized, who do I copy on those 2 emails? Everybody obviously on the commission, right? Is there anyone else I should include?
No, I think that's fine. And you know, there's an easy way to email the whole Board of Traffic Commissioners, which is, you know, Board of Traffic.
Yeah. Okay. And the link. trail
Okay,
just
Kelly, I'm
off.
back with you.
Great. Andy, can you just remind us? I think it would be nice if the traffic commissioners could, between now and our next meeting, drive by that area so that, you know, hopefully they
Sure.
could act on it. What was that
Yes.
dead end? What's the dead end?
Okay, it's the dead end of Leicester Avenue. So if you're traveling down Mamaroneck Avenue, you're making a right-hand turn into Northrop, opposite Mamaroneck Avenue School. You proceed down to the next intersection, make a right, and it takes you to the dead end behind Mavis. And you'll see both sides of the street, and directly at the end of the street, they park also.
Okay.
So their concern was that they could not get a pumper close enough to the building if there was a fire in the newer building.
I hear you.
And that's our second source of water at Leicester Avenue and Northrop to bring a fire hose in from that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for the Harbor Heights. I guess I lost signal. I wasn't moving.
That's all right.
Andy, did you hear Kelly about the incident report?
No, I missed that part of it.
Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
On the Board of Traffic Commissioners webpage on the Village of Mamaroneck website, there is
Yes.
something called the Traffic Incident Report. It's on the left-hand side of the page. If you just fill
Okay.
that out, that's the official way to get a request into our system.
Perfect. That's what I want to do.
Keeps it logged. So that if you could do that, that would be appreciated. It'll get us officially.
Done deal.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
If you have
Done
a
deal.
problem
Thank you for
finding
taking-
it, just shoot me an email and I'll send you a link.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Kelly, since we're talking about the traffic incident report.
Yep.
I believe at our last meeting, we talked about when somebody fills out an incident report or a location goes on our agenda, we want that person to attend our next meeting and be available to answer questions or whatever. So has that form been updated to?
Yeah, I believe Elena said yes, she did, right, Kelly?
Yeah, I believe it has been.
Yeah. We can't force people to come. That's the only,
No, but I think it's clear that, we
Yeah,
encourage people to attend,
right.
discuss it.
Okay.
And certainly anytime anyone emails me, I encourage them to attend.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, okay. So then, the follow-ups, we'll just, wait and leave, right? See what happens down the road?
Yep.
Okay, so we were gonna do the minutes, Robert.
Has everyone read the minutes and are you ready to approve or make suggestions for changes or vote on approving the minutes? I'll assume that's a yes.
Let's go.
All those in favor of approving the minutes from our last meeting, May 11th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. The minutes are approved. Do we have to make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Kelly?
I don't know. Why don't you just go ahead?
Just adjourn it or?
No,
make-
I think just go ahead and do the motion.
Okay. Somebody want to make, I'll make the motion. I make a motion to adjourn our traffic agenda meeting for June 8th.
Sounds good.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who seconded, please?
Andre,
I did.
Andres, okay. And Sharon didn't show up, right?
that's right.
Okay.
Thanks
Very
all.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Be safe, be well. Look forward to you next month.
Thank
Alright.
you.
Andy.
Thank you,
Thanks,
police and
Kelly.
fire.
So much. Bye to
Thank
everyone.
thank
Bye.
you. Robert, you did good.